All right, guys. So Remen, the Real Estate Mortgage Network, they've got flyers for you and your company that you can brand. These are cool because you can take different products, different things, and then brand it to your company, take it over to a real estate office, show those agents what you got going on with your company, not Remen's, and then ask for the business. It's really cool because your competition isn't doing this. We've told you this before. So check this out. The only thing you have to do is sign up with them. What a cool idea. Click this banner right over there. So check out this chart. According to the CFPB, the top complaints by consumers about their mortgage is number 5, receiving a credit offer. That's 2% of the people. Number 4, signing the agreement. That comes in at 3%. The third most complained about thing is applying for a loan. That comes in at a whopping 8% of respondents. Number 2, people are complaining about making their payment. That one's 31%. And the number 1 complaint of consumers about their mortgage is problems when you're unable to make the payment. This needs to be pointed out. The vast majority of complaints from the CFPB survey, coming in at a whopping 82%, the top 1 and 2 spots, is with the payment, with the obligation, with the thing outside of the scope of what lenders do. Outside of that, very few complaints at all by consumers. It stands to reason though, don't you think? What's the worst part about a loan? Well, the payment and not being able to make the payment. That's like, what's the worst part about having teeth? Coming in at number 1, cavities. They kind of suck. Now, what this tells me is the industry is doing pretty darn good, don't you think? Hope the CFPB sees it that way.
And according to the CFPB, the top 6 mortgage complaints about the type of mortgages are number 6, VA, number 5, HELOCs, number 4, FHA, number 3, adjustable rate mortgages, number 2, conventional fixed rate mortgages, and the most complained about mortgage is other. Yes, other. Well, this has to be some sort of residual subprime something or other from years ago, because over 90% of all loans written now are Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie, and seconds, man. I mean, you can't have 42% of all complaints about a different type of loan that's not being written because they don't exist.
You know, one of the CFPB complaints that Frank just told you, it's very interesting that very few FHA loans have complaints, don't you think? What do you think the reason for that is? Well, the people getting FHA loans, they're just happy to get a loan, meaning they thought they wouldn't be able to get one.
Okay, moving on, here's another good one from the CFPB. Top mortgage companies that get complaints. Here we go. Who do you think they are? Okay, here you go. We're gonna start with the worst. Coming in at number 1, Wells Fargo. Most complained about company out there. Number 2, B of A. Number 3 is Ocwen. Now, hang on to that, put that in your head for later on. Number 3 is Ocwen. Number 4 is Nation Star. Number 5 is Chase. Number 6, Ditech. And number 7 is Citi. Really, it's a who's who of big lenders.
I mean, so how do we take this thing, guys? Are they the worst? Or do they just do the most business, therefore they get the most complaints? Now, having a lifetime of originations and being inside the industry under our collective belts between me and Frank, we'd say probably both, the biggest and the worst. Because working with Bank of America or Wells Fargo is like buying a Chevy or a Ford in the 1980s. Sure, they're the biggest companies out there, but all their products were the crappiest products, yet we kept on buying them. Now the thing is, it's kind of funny here because when you work for one of the big lenders, it's all about protecting the brand. If they only knew how people really saw that brand.
Okay, again, coming from the CFPB, now this is the largest increase in complaints, according to the CFPB, for a company within the industry. So coming in at number 5, Ceteris Inc., whoever they are. Number 4, PennyMac Loan Services. Number 3, Carrington Mortgage Holdings. Number 2, Loan Care. And number 1, Freedom Mortgage. The thing is, depending on your volume, this number can get screwed. For example, if your company gets 1 complaint per year, and then next year you get 2, your complaints have gone up 100%. Never mind the fact that your total complaints are the lowest in the industry. You've just made the CFPB printed list. So I hope you're getting this. The least complained about company can show up as the largest increase of complaints. Now, how the CFPB sees this as helpful or informative is beyond our scope, and we'll prove it right now.
You understand that, right? You could show up as the highest increase. You get that by simply having 1 or 2 additional complaints. Now, let us show you how ridiculous this is. What company has the largest decrease in the number of complaints. Meaning, boy, they sure are getting with the program. Now that company, according to the CFPB chart, is Ocwen. Ocwen has the largest decrease in complaints. Now that's good, right? The problem is, as we just explained a moment ago, from the CFPB charts, these same charts, Ocwen is the third most complained about company in the mortgage industry in the entire country. Only behind Wells and Bank of America.
So the point is, there is no point in the CFPB releasing this information. The only thing it does is misleads companies and consumers about good and bad players. I mean, you can't tell, and we just proved that with Ocwen. I mean, consumer complaints, the vast majority are about the payment on the darn loan, the obligation. That's not a complaint, it's a responsibility. I don't want to get up at 6 in the morning. I have to. That's my responsibility, not my complaint. My kids have to go to school. They hate it. It's not their complaint, that's their responsibility. Your payment is not your complaint, it's your obligation. Quit misleading borrowers that their obligation and responsibility is a grievance. It's dysfunctional and massively counterproductive.
And finally, as we just also heard from the CFPB, half the respondents are complaining about subprime loans, loans that don't exist anymore. Now, a consumer looking at this chart would draw the conclusion that there's mysterious loans that are really bad, boogeyman loans at this point in time. If this chart is anything, it's misleading and it's counterproductive. Now, the point is here, Frank, we've got a number of charts and information that the CFPB put out.
Right.
And it's giving you information that's kind of gossip columnist-like
Sure.
in the industry.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the information and I don't know what purpose it serves. I don't know who it's helping. I don't know who it's hurting.
Yeah.
And frankly, when you extrapolate the information as we just showed, it can be very misleading.
Right.
Now, I do want to say this. The CFPB last week did a really good thing about looking at TRID,
Right.
about talking about adjusting some of the problems that we have with TRID and possibly listening to the industry.
Yeah.
So I don't just want to sit up here and bash the CFPB.
Right.
But when they release this type of information, it's a who's who of who's good and who's bad. And when you look at the information close enough, it really doesn't even give you that type of information. So again, this comes across as gossip to me. It doesn't help consumers. It doesn't help the industry. So I really, truly wonder what the purpose of sending this out is.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you guys have some thoughts on that. Let us know down below in the comments. You guys have a fantastic day. Forward, share, and subscribe in the upper right-hand corner. We'll catch you guys later here at the National Real Estate Post.
Subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.